Ready. Play.
The thing I remember, Sam, about that match at Wimbledon was just how competitive it was and how unafraid this young lady was to go up against Venus Williams on a big court, and came ever so close to winning that match. Just experience cost her. She's talented, Sam. Has all the shots, can come into the net, has quite a big forehand with a lot of spin. She can slice, she can hit through the two-handed backhand. I mean, just look at her. She's a terrific athlete, moves around the court beautifully. It's whether or not she's willing to step up into the court today.
Let's see, 15.
Venus Williams is getting used to, isn't she? Trying to keep the youngsters at bay. In her opening match, beat young Victoria Kuzmova. Took her 3 sets to get to put down the young Slovakian. She was a qualifier. That's going to be a good player. And Oceane Dodin, the top 50 player from France, another youngster. That was close, 5 and 4. What have you made of Venus's form in the opening couple of rounds?
A little patchy at times. I think for me, it's all about the serve for V. If she's hitting a lot of first serves and not hitting double faults, it's when she starts hitting double faults that I start to get worried about her losing, because they can come in spades.
V, is that what, V for Venus, is that what Serena calls her and Mum calls her? V?
V. It's just, sorry, this is a little easy to, I was lazy. And we heard before the match that Serena's had a baby girl. I'm not going to lie, I was happy to hear that. Look, as long as the baby is healthy, obviously that's all you care about. But it's kind of cool that we're going to have a little Serena.
And her aunties are going to make such a fuss of her.
I know.
I mean, this little one is just going to be adored.
We're waiting on the name.
Yes.
It is definitely cool today. There is no doubt about that. Now with the sun gone from this stadium, it will be considerably cooler inside Arthur Ashe Stadium.
Advantage, Williams.
Williams with his 2 Grand Slam finals this year at Australia and Wimbledon. She has established herself as a contender once more. Had a few years with the Sjogren's, talking about 2011 and 2014, where she was a little away from the top of the game, understandably. But she's enjoying tucking into these youngsters. Good opening service game for Venus. Former champion, safely through it. Do you think she's going to set a new bar, as Federer has done, as Agassi did a decade or so ago, about how long you can play in the game, and set a path for how you do that in terms of your scheduling, your practice and your training?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're seeing that more and more. I had a conversation about this yesterday. Venus and Serena used to give me such a hard time when I was still playing. I played till I was 39, and they would give me such a hard time. You're still playing? And if I'd said to them both, you're going to be playing at 36 and 37, they would have laughed at me. And here they are. So it was just unheard of to play this much, particularly when you're very successful. But yes, to answer your question, I think the bar has been set by Roger, by Venus and Serena. Mid-30s, winning Grand Slams, getting to finals of Grand Slams. Take care of your body, and you can continue this career for a lot longer. Maria Sakkari has a really, doesn't have a big serve, but it jumps on you, particularly the kick serve. That might be a problem today if Venus is stepping in and hitting the backhand well. So we'll see if Sakkari can move the serve around a little more and be less predictable.
Let's see, 50.
Yeah, that second serve, I was having a chat to a friend of mine, actually a British coach and very good commentator, Mark Pecci. He was just looking after in sort of a caretaker role during the grass court season because she split from her Spanish coach just after the French Open. And he said, yeah, the first serve's great. Look, she can get up 105, 106. He was a little bit worried about the second serve.
Whoa, what a shocker of a miss there from
40,
Venus.
15.
This young lady is quick. What an athlete. You could sort of see her in sort of track and field or hockey or any sport.
Mum was not going to let her play any sport but tennis. That's not true, I don't know that.
Game, Sakkari.
And that was a very smart serve. She knew exactly where to put it. Executed to perfection.
One game all, first serve.
Both women, 15 years apart, safely aboard in this third round match.
Well, a terrific point from both players here, and you see
15.
Maria Sakkari is not afraid to move forward. She's got good volleys, good hands. We see this. This is a nice shot to try and get it above Venus Williams, but not enough, and Venus very handy at the net herself. It'll be interesting to see if Sakkari directs more balls to the forehand side of Venus. Look, everybody knows that Venus's forehand is her weaker side. Venus knows it, but when it's on, it's deadly. But you have to try and break it down early in a match.
It's funny, isn't it? First half of the year, and all the way through Australia to Wimbledon, that second serve was looking terrific.
Yeah.
But I noticed in this American summer, she's lost the mojo with it. It's something in the rhythm. I don't know if you can see anything technical that's going on, but it's not as good as it was earlier in the season.
Yeah, for me, she's being less aggressive with it, and that's probably because she's lost the confidence with it, with the technique. That's the one thing about Venus's game, and why her serve isn't as good as Serena's, because the technical side of it is nowhere near as good as Serena's. Too many hitches in the serve. I mean, when it's on and she's hitting the first serve big, it is actually harder than Serena's because it's flatter and it comes down from that lofty space that she has up there. Break point here, though.
Use.
So it comes at you at a trajectory that's different to Serena's. Serena's comes at you hard and it is big and accurate, whereas Venus's comes from about 3 to 4 feet higher. And so it's like a, I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, in cricket, it's like a bouncer. And then the second serve is, it can be very slow.
Advantage,
but
Williams.
because again of the height, it bounces quite high. So you have to adjust to the speeds of her serve, believe it or not.
Use.
And that's exactly what happens when it comes off the lines here. Back edge. It's a different paint that they use on the lines. It has a lot less sand in it. I don't know why they do that. It's very different to the court surface, so it just skids on you.
It's like a little bit more acrylic.
Yeah, it's a slick finish.
Advantage, Williams.
Not easy being the only player from your country in any event at a Grand Slam, but Sakkari, they don't produce too many players who do the Greeks, but then they usually have to train aboard, so she's just sort of there on her own, and that's not always that easy.
Game,
Again,
Williams.
Venus making rather heavy weather of her service game, but on serve in this opening set, Williams leading
Williams
by
leads
2 games,
2 games to 1 first set.
So on serve, early stages, third round match, and a second meeting between Maria Sakkari and two-time former champion Venus Williams.
Well, if there's one serve to hit
15.
on Venus, it's to the body. And you obviously have to be selective when you choose it, because if you go there too much, she's going to move one way or the other and crack a forehand or a backhand. But I've played her a lot of times in doubles, and that was really the area that I tried to get my serve to a lot, and there, to the forehand. Venus has these unbelievably long levers, so if you serve to the corners and you don't hit them well, she
15.
moves forward and she really penetrates on the return. So if you can handcuff her a little bit with the serve, it certainly helps you. You can see, Sam, how
15.
well Sakkari moves the serve around the court. She doesn't hit always with flat serves. Body out, slider wide. She'll probably kick one now out to the backhand. So she really is thinking out there, which is great to see.
Yeah, she's keeping Venus honest, and she's come out with a plan.
She might have tried to serve and volley there, which she will do from time to time.
She has a brother, Yanis, could only be Greek with a name like Yanis, couldn't you, who's studying at Boston University. Father Konstantinos is a businessman back in Greece. Of course, we've been chatting about her mother, Angeliki Kanalopoulou, who is a top 50 player, and she actually has a sister, Amanda.
I
get the impression very close family. I think it was very hard for her to be alone, staying in an apartment in Barcelona where she trained, at least until recently, for a couple of years. I think it's going to be a much better setup now, back home with the family. Well, Venus faced a break point in the last game. She's got one of her own here. And she normally doesn't need too many invitations.
Yes.
I love we get these little tidbits about players in our packets, and one of the things was her mother wanted her to be, you know, in tennis, but wanted her to do other sports, and she said she tried karate and gymnastics but was thrown out of the class for laughing too much. Clearly didn't really like the gymnastics or the karate. How can you laugh in karate class?
Advantage, Sakkari.
These two, though, physically couldn't be more different. We've got Venus still at 37, who still looks lanky, doesn't she? Like she hasn't quite grown into her body. And then you've got Sakkari, who's like a little Power Ranger.
Game,
So
Sakkari.
both have survived. Just some little examinations out here. And
2 games all.
the 22-year-old from Athens more than holding her own. Now, usopen.org is your online home for point-by-point live scoring and a real-time stats and draws. So don't forget, go and visit the official tournament site at usopen.org, bottom right of your screen. And you can find out everything you could possibly want to know about all the matches and everything at this US Open.
15.
Maria Sakkari's idol growing up was little sister of the person she's playing right now, Serena Williams. That's not a good miss from
That's
Sakkari.
another-
He has a lot of time there to hit that forehand. Didn't
So-
get the feet organised.
I'll tell you what, though, looks okay out. I mean, this is her first time on the Arthur Ashe Stadium. She's been out on court 9 to play Burton's, the 2014, 15, court 15 to play Roddy Nova. Where is, when you're 95 in the world, that's where you start off at the US Open. Whereas for Williams, this is her home. She's already had a day and a night session match out here.
Game, Williams.
A far more comfortable service game for Venus Williams. And we are on serve in this opening set, but the Americans
Williams
leading
leads
by
3
3 games to 2.
lessons.
Venus Williams taking on yet another youngster in this 2017 US Open draw.
Love 15.
So now's the time for someone like Sakkari to start thinking, because now you're into the match, you're 3-2, and you start thinking, oh, you know, if I can win. Instead of just going up to the line and keep playing point by point, you start thinking about the score line right about now. And you start thinking about the person that you're playing against. We spoke about it, didn't we, Sam, before the match and during the match, that the second serve is the vulnerable spot for her. And it will be today, because Venus loves to take advantage of a short, high, kicking serve. So must get the first serve in.
Love 40.
Amazing. 2 double faults in this game. Just handing the opportunity to Venus, who, trust me, will take it.
Yeah, she's just pushing it a little too hard.
Game, Williams.
That was a very strange game from the Greek number 1. And Venus not having to do an awful lot in that game.
4 games to 2 first set.
Now the 5-time Wimbledon champion, 2-time US Open champion. She's rolling in this match now. She's got a platform.
Still a concern for me throughout if Venus wants to win this tournament. On grass, you tend to serve better because you just know how useful it is on a grass surface. But here at the Open, if you don't hit the first serve in, then the second serve sits there and it will be taken advantage of. On grass, you can still slide it away and use your serve, and Venus does that so beautifully on grass. But that's a concern if Venus wants to get through to another final, the slam. And it's the second foot fault.
What's going on there? You can see that Venus's foot is almost parallel to the line when she steps up. And I sometimes think that just that front just turns on her occasionally.
30-15.
But it's a
Miss Sakkari
crazy
shown
rule,
a
isn't
ball on
it?
the left
Because
hand
how
side
can you
line, the
possibly
ball's
know
in.
if you're foot faulting? Surely there should be a warning first before you get your initial foot fault.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I sat courtside a million times watching, maybe not a million, but it feels like that.
30-15.
Watching someone like Venus serve,
Miss
and
Sakkari has
there's
2
no,
challenges remaining.
if she moves and just barely touches the line, it's like, it's just, for me, it's a crazy rule.
Okay, we've established that.
Didn't get the knees down to that. 6'2"
30.
Venus Williams. You've got to get down to make that forehand volley. It's one of the most difficult volleys to hit. You cannot just use your hands here. You've got to get low. And that looks low, but that has to be lower so you can control the racket face.
Forty, 30.
She's just sort of trundling along, isn't she, through this opening set? God, so much more experience than her opponent out here today.
Game, Williams.
A little sharper that time up to the shorter ball. And Williams doing a nice job out here. That poor chap, he's really struggling. Oh dear, poor guy. And it's Williams who leads 5-2 with the break, first set. Well, there's a pretty decent late afternoon Arthur Ashe Stadium crowd in.
You've got an opportunity to watch one of the greats of
Yeah.
all time in Venus.
They're not having to get too invested as just yet. This match sort of drifting over them as they're sort of chattering away in their seats.
This is such an important game for Sakkari throughout this match to establish that she can hold serve and keep the scoreboard pressure on Venus in the first set. And you also don't want to go into the second set not having won a lot of service games.
40 love.
Some of the work that Mark Pecci did with her over the summer grass court season was a lot on, obviously, court position, getting a little closer to the baseline, but a little bit was actually getting to believe in herself. What a good player she was and could be. She's been pretty down on herself.
Yeah, I've spoken to her a lot as well, and she's very shy and very sweet, and sometimes those things don't work well on a tennis court. You have to, she's a competitor. She tries so hard for everything, and she wants to win, but there's a difference between wanting to win and trying really hard and believing in yourself, and that's definitely a part of Maria Sakkari that needs to change if she wants to have success on the tour.
Yeah, I said to Mark, what did you work on? I was expecting to say something technical. He said, no, self-esteem, self-confidence. I looked in her bio with these wonderful media notes we get, and you know, her goal is to be top 50. You wouldn't get any of the Russians or Eastern Europeans saying that. They want world domination. So it's interesting that it's more personal development with her and maturing and getting more comfortable on the tour. And I think when you grow up,
5 games to 3.
when you grow up in Greece,
well, that's the problem, isn't it? I mean,
there's so few good players out there. You don't have a melting pot of being at a Bolletieres or being in the States or being in Spain.
Look,
and
success breeds success, right? And if you don't have it in your country and someone to look up to, I mean, if she lived in Australia, for example, she would have someone like Sam Stosur to look up to. You know, think about Daria Gavrilova, for example, so Ashley Barty. You have these players in front of you that you're going to keep pushing each other and pushing each other. And you're seeing it with the Americans right now with Madison Keys and Sloane Stephens and Coco Vandeweghe, and they're all about the same age, and they're pushing each other up the rankings together.
And she's not had that.
No, and of course they had Venus and Serena Williams in front of them.
That's a lot.
It's also that contact as well, that when you have someone in your country that's been a really good player, you get a chance to chat to them, maybe have a little hit, and you realise they are human beings. They're not off, you know, a different planet. Well, maybe Venus, but excuse the pun. But seriously, you realise that it's achievable and it's not so far away. And I think she's still in that place where she thinks the top is just, you know, almost beyond her.
Just long.
Miss Sakkari should have a call on
See
the
a chase challenge, but
the ball
pretty
was
confident
called
that this ball was
out.
long. So you'd like to see her get up to that type of a forehand and rip it down the line and come into the net. See, that shot should have been hit down the line. Get Venus on the run, attack, come into the net, and said a missed opportunity.
It's been a very easy afternoon's work so far for Venus Williams. 3 set points.
That's just an absolute collapse on that second serve. The left arm drops away. She doesn't get momentum up into the serve. That's the 3rd foot fault. That's crazy. I would love to see a little camera on her feet.
And without too much ado and just one break required, Venus Williams wraps up the opening set by 6 games to 3.
Love 50.
Maria Sakkari starting off this second set. Got a little behind the pace, I must say, towards the end of the first, and this could be over very quickly.
You cannot hit that forehand though, down the line like that. So,
and this
but
for
it
me
was
is
kind
where
of
the self-esteem comes in. I
Love
just
13.
wonder where her self-belief is right now.
yeah, totally. But having said that, Sam, like that previous point where she hit the forehand inside in. There's her mum on the right of the screen there.
Angeliki.
There she is.
She was a great athlete as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, the genes are in the family.
Thanks,
aren't
Mum.
they? Thanks, Mum. But that's the forehand. You have to go down the line with that forehand. You can't pull it
15,
cross
13.
court. And there's her mum. She's like, that's how you do it.
Mum was quite a defensive baseliner, if I remember, with quite a and used to run round her backhand and get onto her forehand with big grips and a lot of height over the net. Used to run all day. That's more like it.
Yes, I believe her best result was the third round of the
30.
French Open. She lost to Chris Evert.
As many did at the French Open, as everybody did at the French Open.
I wonder if Chrissy remembers that match. She beat a lot of people. Just coming off the forehand on clay, you have a bit more time to sort of rotate the racket through the ball, and this time she's coming off of the forehand. If Maria Sakkari wants to win or even get back into this match, she has to be more aggressive with the forehand.
Game, Williams.
It's just very solid from Venus Williams, and she's doing exactly what is required out here, and it's still a 70% Venus Williams is way too much for young Maria Sakkari.
Yeah, just hitting the ball too big for Sakkari. She's not adjusting to the pace at all. I feel coming up out of her shots, not varying enough and not being aggressive when she has the opportunity. And yes, Sam, a lot of that is self-belief and trusting your good shots.
It's quite interesting. There's quite a youth movement here at this year's US Open. A third of the players into the third round are 22 or under. And that's in the Maria Sakkari category. She's 22 years of age. Turned 22 in July.
Maria Sakkari's mum's highest ranking was 43. You think Maria would say, my goal is to be in the top 40,
Yes, it is.
so she can beat her mum.
Lovely. Love it.
So this will continue to be an issue if that we have to talk about, because it is absolutely the biggest problem for Venus. When she's playing well, she's serving well, she's winning free points, and it would be concern right now for David Witt, her 5th double fault of the match. And with not a lot of pressure on her, particularly on the return. You're not playing against someone who's standing in and being aggressive with your serve, so it's not a good. I mean, that's just crazy that she's lost another rhythm on her serve. It's not a look of happiness.
Game.
Cannot believe that has just happened.
1 game all, second set.
Wow, an entire game of double faults, and if Venus gets through this match, or whatever happens in her post-match press
It was the
conference,
racket. It was definitely
isn't
the
that
racket.
the first question she's going to be asked? Venus, what on earth happened? Well, some players like to change their rackets after, well, when the balls are changed at 4-3, sometimes a game afterwards, but Venus throwing all that out the window. Get rid of that racket, the offending item.
Yeah, well, Serena would have broken it if she'd done that. I don't think she would not to think that was funny, because she probably would have if she'd done 4 double faults. Venus is always alive.
I've just got this picture of
15.
Serena, who's just sort of given birth with the little girl there, little baby girl, sitting and maybe watching this match and sort of in recovery, and saying to the little one, "Do not serve like Auntie Venus."
Serve like your mum.
It's very bad.
Miss Sakkari sharing the ball on the right far sideline. The ball was called in.
You can see what kind of an athlete Sakkari is, from sliding around the court on hard court.
Both lines. 15. Miss Sakkari has 2 challenges remaining. Hey! 15-13.
See you just take a peek up at her player box. Is definitely not in a comfort zone right now. This has been a bit of a scratchy match so far for both.
We saw David Wood
30.
just slightly stressed out at that game, the last game from Venus, but he was quite cross with her in a good way when she played Victoria Kuzmova in the first round, because Venus won the first set very comfortably, and he was quite annoyed that she didn't put the youngster away. She didn't jump on her right at the start of the second set, so he won't be pleased with this. And she's doing really exactly the same thing here.
Well, she just virtually gave a game, literally gave a game to her opponent with 4 double faults in a row.
Game Sakkari.
Well, I think it's Maria Sakkari suddenly clocked what's happening down at the other end and taking full advantage. So after exchanging breaks, we're back on serve in the second set.
First set, Williams.
You've got to get it in the court.
Love 50.
Well, one positive, she got the serve in.
Okay, what do you do here if you're Venus? I mean, in kind of your swing thoughts, if we were talking in golfing parlance.
With the serve. Give me a second.
Well, I say that because everyone has cue words, don't
Yeah.
they? I mean, some people have up and out, or what do you think
15.
Venus's would be?
I think it's key for Venus to leave the left arm up as long as possible and then get the legs up into the ball toss. So don't be lazy. Don't drag the left hand down too early. There's so many things, like you said. As a
15,
player, you would cue.
13.
Sometimes with me, it was get my hip out, you know, so I could get a nice arch and then I could explode into it. Sometimes it was literally keep your head up, watching the ball until the point of contact. Sometimes it was, you know, aggressive wrist snap. There's,
Yeah.
you know, there's a
you.
list and list and lists. But I would imagine for someone like Venus, it's hit it. Like get up and hit it.
Very carefully done.
Forty, 13.
Good speed here. And look at that ability to run a ball down and slide like she's playing on clay, Sakkari. And Venus had to hit a good volley there because she knew Sakkari could run it down.
Game, Williams.
A little carried away there, Sakkari. There was a small door that might have opened. But Venus Williams, I think,
2 games all.
relieved to
Second
get
set.
through that service game. Now, usopen.org is your online home for point-by-point live scoring and real-time stats and draws. Visit the official tournament site at, you've guessed it, usopen.org.
Let's. Love 15.
Even
Love
though
it.
her opponent today is at, you know, sort of tennis at half mast, really, isn't it? That you can see the belief from Sakkari. It's just draining away. If there was any there in the first place, despite the fact they went the distance at Wimbledon a year ago, and Sakkari came back and won that middle set.
Oh, she's obviously trying to tap into those memories right now. Starting out nervously, playing against Venus Williams, and you just got to hang in there. So these next few points could be the difference maker. That's so unusual. I mean, I've seen
Love
Sakkari
14.
play a lot of matches, and the forehand just not getting out of the way. You have to have the right spacing in between you and the swing path when you're hitting a forehand or a backhand. So that's why footwork is so important, to get it into the right spot every time.
One break was all that was needed in the opening set, and Williams going really well in the second. She now leads by a set and a break.
Williams leads 3 games to 2, second set, and by 1 set to 11.
Barring any complete meltdowns or malfunctions, this is just a case for Williams of going through the gears to progress through to the 4th round.
15.
I did say, barring any serious malfunctions.
It's just incredible. It's she cannot continue to serve like this and think she's going to win this tournament. And that's the fourth. I mean, there's fourth.
I just wonder if
footfall.
the two things are related, though. That maybe she's just out of sync.
Okay, so I'm going to throw something crazy out here.
15,
Her
13.
baby sister, who we know she is very close to, just had a baby today. I mean, that's a lot to take in as well,
It
you know,
is,
before a
it's
match.
huge,
And
yeah.
who knows how much that was playing on her mind? Is everything okay?
Well played, young lady. Fighting hard here, Sakkari.
I like that she got annoyed,
15,
Sakkari, after
14.
that first point. It was probably the first time she's really let out any kind of emotion. Sure, it was a positive, no, but I think she needed to sort of let it all out. And then you see the positive reinforcement after that point.
Game,
And
set.
Sakkari breaks Williams for the very first time in the match. She had a break point early on in this contest, couldn't convert,
3 games
but makes
all.
no mistakes there.
Second set.
And I'm afraid it's a lot more work for Williams to do out here. And just going back to your theory, I don't think it's crazy at all. I'm amazed she can get out there and concentrate at all, because this is a huge life event to become, well, she's already an auntie, but to become an auntie to one of Serena's children.
Yeah, because she's the baby sister.
Yeah.
And she's
This
her
is-
only baby sister.
This is big, and this is not going to be easy mentally.
You can start to see and
Love
feel
15.
and hear Sakkari starting to play better. Sakkari's mum, we've already talked about her a lot of times, former top 50 player on the WTA Tour.
Love 13.
It's nice to have a parent with you a lot, but certainly it's nice to have a parent that's been through what you're going through, to be able to help you and tell you. And you know, her mum reached the third round of the French twice, actually, so she knows what it feels like to walk on a court like this, particularly as a great player. She did against Chris Evert.
Let's pass.
I mean, back in the day, Chris Evert was, you know, the Venus Williams or Serena Williams of her day, of course.
Love 40.
Well, serving for Williams right now must be a trial, but she's getting her game back on the tracks here. The lapse has not been for too long, and could get an immediate break back to love here.
Let's censor. Fifteen, 14.
She's made it.
Again, terrific athlete. We haven't seen a lot of it today just because they haven't had long, arduous points, but on that occasion you saw how quick Sakkari is.
30-40.
The way that Venus has been serving, these are pivotal points here.
Yeah. Well, each time she's broken Sakkari, in this set, she's been immediately broken back. She hasn't really put the youngster away. Still has a break point right here.
Yes.
Would be a little concern for David Witt. This has not been a clean match for Venus. 8 double faults. Not taking advantage of breakpoint opportunities. I mean, you never see reactions like that from Venus. She's always such a poker face and doesn't show negativity. Always, but that was almost a dejected sort of shake of the head. Like, what is going on with me today?
Yes. Advantage, Williams.
Such a chance there for Sakkari, but so hard to get back from love 40 in this game. Williams is playing a really off and out of character set of tennis here. And the young Greek player not taking full advantage.
Williams.
A couple of loose ones. I think the chance has gone for Sakkari. And Venus once more up a break in the second set.
Williams leads 4-3, second set, and by 1 set to love.
Williams here would love to finish with a strong service game. That doesn't help, does it, when someone does a giant sneeze?
That's some bad timing
between
there.
your serves. So obviously, will Venus, you know very well, be out 9 o'clock tomorrow morning on the practice courts with a bucket of balls serving, or is she not going? Or would she not make a big deal about what's happened out here?
No, not really. She won't make a big deal about it. She'll be obviously very aware in practice tomorrow that she has to think about what she's doing with the serve, but she won't over-serve.
It's a tricky one for David Witt because he doesn't want to kind of bang on about it too much. There's got to be some clever coaching here.
Game, Williams.
just what the doctor
Williams
ordered.
leads.
Her
5
first
games to 3,
love service
second.
hold of the match.
So we've had a love service hold. We've had a break of serve for Sakkari that was handed to her by Venus with 4 double faults in a row. I can't remember the last time I saw that.
Sakkari serving to stay in this third round match.
Interesting to see what Thomas Johansson, Sakkari's now new coach, will work on with her, because I think one of the things on hard court she needs to improve on, particularly playing big hitters, Sam, is to get forward momentum more on her forehand. And this woman on screen, imagine 20 years ago, was in the finals here for the first time. That's unreal.
I
mean, she has seen a lot of players in her career come and go.
Let's see, 15.
There's just been times out here this afternoon where her game has looked a little wonky, a little off. Might be to do with your theory. Quite possibly so. Sakkari would love to hang on and hang around out here for a little longer.
Daniil.
Touch. This young lady, give her half a chance, she can really play.
Yeah, she hasn't been at her best today. Neither player's really been at their best, and it's nice to see her smiling. She's a terrific athlete, likes to come forward, and we haven't seen that from her today. We haven't seen a lot of aggressive play. Certainly Venus's ball is very hard and flat, difficult to come in on.
Game, Sakkari.
Well done, Maria Sakkari. She hangs on, but it'll be Williams to serve for a place in the fourth round.
4 second set and by 1 set to love.
Venus Williams serving for a place in the fourth round. Hasn't been entirely smooth saving for the #1 American. Broken twice in this match, and once in unforgettable fashion.
Or forgettable for her.
Yes, I think, well, they say all the great champions have very short memories. But just to put into context the body of work that she's put together over the last couple of decades, she's serving out now for her 15th fourth-round berth at the US Open.
And with this win, I think passes Steffi for the amount of matches won here at the US Open. Steffi Graf, of course.
Yeah, currently this would be her 74th win here if she can close out. Man, this is unreal. You don't need me to tell you that Venus wins the next point. She'll be out here on Labor Day weekend. They all want to see her out on the Arthur Ashe Stadium. Once again, Venus Williams books her place in the round of 16.